All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Vino Conversations. We are now on to episode 3, and today I am joined by...
Anthony Bell,
Yes,
CEO
sir.
of Amperé Wines. Let's sip.
Come on. Cheers to that, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank
So
you
what
for
are,
having me.
Absolutely, bro. So what are we sipping on today? Please describe it. You know, you yourself are an owner of a wine brand and will also be the official wine sponsor of Vino Virday Volume 4, Saturday, June 29th at Lovejoy's. So what do we got for this first one?
Oh, we going ahead and telling them everything?
Come on, bro. Have to.
I thought that was going to be a little sneak peek, but okay, let's let them know.
For sure.
Yeah, so right now we're drinking on the Pinot Gris. So the most unique thing I would say about my Pinot Gris is just the fact that it's full-bodied. So you're getting a lot of hints of berries, some hints of a little bit of honeysuckle. I would say that the most uniqueness of this is the fact that it's a Pinot Gris and not a Pinot Grigio, just from the simple fact that I wanted the average wine drinker to be able to enjoy it, but at the same time, I wanted those wine enthusiasts to say, hey, like, this is one of them.
For sure.
And then also,
like.
if you check the little alcohol content, it's like 13.5. So it's one of the highest alcohol contents that I have inside of my whole white wine portfolio.
For sure. And for those who don't know, red wine almost always, or it always is a higher alcohol percentage than white. I know on average, I don't know if always, but definitely on average,
yeah,
you can
on
get
average.
a little 15% red, and you might have an 11% rosé, for example.
Right, and then you can't forget about like the Stella Rosa.
Yep.
Or those nature.
It's not wine. As Bryson Tiller said in his song, "No, thank you." It's not wine.
Hey, it's good from time to time.
It's something though. It's something. Yeah.
So what you think about, like, what hints and notes are you getting when you first taking the sip and everything?
For sure. I appreciate the texture of it because me, for one, I do not like Chardonnay and I don't like an overly buttery white wine. So for me, this is very smooth on the palate. I would say it's got a bit of citrus and green apple to it.
Yeah.
Maybe like a tiny bit herbal, but definitely fresh. Light fruit notes, not overly full body, but still has enough texture to it too. As you mentioned, it's 13% plus. It's not like water. Some white wines, some rosés can really be like water. So I feel like it's really well balanced and valid for both a new wine drinker and somebody who's more experienced like myself. So.
Oh yeah, I definitely appreciate that. I wanted to know if you caught the little hint of, because we actually aged it in oak just a little bit.
Okay.
So I wanted to see if you were picking up a little of those oaky flavors, because that's actually kind of sense where it gets that little color from. I know we've been sipping on it for a minute now, so can't really see it. But yeah, it's definitely got aged in oak, so that's where it gets a little oaky content to it and a little hints of it. So I wanted to see if you picked up on that as well too.
Well, maybe my herbal vibe that I'm detecting is actually the oak. So
Okay.
that would make some sense.
Okay. All right. For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always love when people try my wines. I love that instant feedback. Something that I just really like heard about is saying like get lips on glasses. So allowing somebody to really take a journey when it comes to your wine and allowing them to like sip it firsthand and then already having a bottle ready for them because you know they're gonna want to buy. That's what I would say is the most uniqueness about my wine. Like anytime I go to a wine tasting, just different events that I've been able to throw, everybody, as soon as they taste it, like, hey, can I get this one? Or hey, can I buy this one? Like instant gratification is something that they feel when they drink my wine.
For sure. No, absolutely. Makes sense to really pounce on the opportunity because once they got the high of enjoying the wine, they want to cop it right there.
Exactly.
So are we trying to finish this real quick and get onto the Muscat?
Man.
Let's do it. Fuck it. And it is chuggable, I must say.
It's chuggable, and as well as, if you think about it, you can also be able to just feel like that, not afterburn, but you feel that, hey, like this is one of them.
And if you couldn't hear that on mic, he said you feel that afterburn, and this is one of them, and I definitely agree with that, for sure. So now we're moving on to a Muscat. This is different than a Moscato, so let's talk about this one too, bro.
Yeah, so with the Muscat, I would say that this one is definitely more so sweet forward. A lot of fruit that you're gonna be able to get from it. The main difference between why this one is different from the Moscato is just the fact that we actually use the actual like grapes, so there's no extra added sugars to dwindle down the alcohol content. Like it's the pure grape, like from as soon as we harvest it to put it inside of the barrels and everything. That's one unique thing about it.
Got you. Let's give this one a try. Little swirl as always. It's good. No, I'm playing. Bro, honestly, I've said before when we first met up about this, I'm not a big fan of sweet wines, but this one for me really hits the spot. It's not overly sweet. It has none of that kind of artificial feel to it.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't have that candy kind of flavor to it. So I think for being on the sweeter side, this is like pretty well balanced. Same way that's a balanced Pinot Gris. I think this is a very balanced sweeter wine as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so you definitely should be getting like hints of that peach,
Yep.
a lot of citrus, a lot of pears, just to be able to like have like on the nose and just that overall, like you said, enjoying that sipping, like not feeling like, hey, like this is really too sugary. So a lot of people, even our well balanced and our well seasoned wine drinkers, still enjoy the muscat just for their seafood dishes, for their chicken dishes. This is one of the go-to. This is actually my #1 seller as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fire. And then you also have a Riesling as well. I know we couldn't get that in time, but you want to talk about that one as well?
Yes. So we also have a Riesling. The Riesling, I would say, is #2 as far as selling. And that's because we found that when we're going to these wine tastings, when we're being booked for these wine tastings, that it's it's a little bit seasons crowd as well too. So those are the real true wine enthusiasts. So they love that Riesling because it has that off dry finish, because it's a little bit drier on the palate, because they're getting notes of honeysuckle, they're getting notes of peaches, pears, and just different things of that, which really makes our wine stand out. And then I would say the biggest thing for our Riesling is that when you think about the United States and you think about where to go when trying to figure out what wines to get in the United States, the Finger Lakes is well known for their Riesling.
Upstate New York, let's get it.
Yeah, but as well as Rogue Valley, which is where I source from and where my winemaking process gets started. And Rogue Valley, Oregon, that's also well known for their Riesling and everything.
Fire, bro.
Yeah, definitely a good time. And love that I was able to really connect with somebody who saw my vision, who saw what I wanted to in the 3 white wines that I wanted to start. So it's really been a great time, and I'm really grateful for it, for sure.
Nah, for sure. Super excited to see the growth of it, bro. Excited to be sipping this during the pod. And I got so many questions about where you are in terms of this journey, this brand, the wines and everything.
Okay.
But we're going to have to take it all the way back first. So
all right, let's take
where
it all
are you
the way back.
from? How did you grow up? Was there entrepreneurial spirit in the household? What was like the very early years of Anthony, as we slowly build up to the story of how you got here today?
Okay, all right. Man, you got me.
Come on, bro.
Take it back. I mean, I'm only 26.
Yeah, I feel you, bro.
Yeah, so just to take it back, so I'm from Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, I got family out there.
Oh, for real?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so born and raised Jacksonville, Florida. And then I would say that it's always been some sort of entrepreneurial spirit from me, like from the get-go. Like I was one of them kids in 6th grade through middle school that I was the candy man.
Candy man, hustling, bro. Hustling.
Yeah, so I had the candy for everybody. Went to Sam's, went to Costco, convinced my mom, like, can we please get a big jar of candy so that way I could be able to sell? Because I would say that, I always wanted to, I'm the oldest. So I always wanted to set the standard so that people can see like, hey, like he's doing it big. I wanted to, of course, you want to lean on your family, but I always wanted to make sure that I started everything first, like in the sense of being like first entrepreneur spirit, first to graduate, just setting that tone as like a big older brother. So that way my little brothers, they didn't have like no excuse. Like they knew the right path to choose from, and they were able to say, hey, like if I don't do all else fails, let me be an entrepreneur.
Okay. And how many siblings?
So I have 2 little brothers.
2 little brothers.
Yeah, so shout out to them boys, Zach and Nick. One truly followed in my footsteps. I went to Florida A&M University. He also went to Florida
My
A&M
grandparents were there on my mama's side. That's crazy.
Dope.
Look
Hey,
at this connection, bro.
Rattler Nation for sure.
Bro.
Yeah, so he went to Florida A&M University. He graduates this upcoming fall. And then my other youngest brother, he plays football for the Naval Academy.
Fire.
Yeah. So he's up in Annapolis and everything. He's going on his junior year. So big breakout year for him. Hopefully see stat lines. I told him to cop me the new college that's coming out, the new college game. Yeah.
They finally brought it back. NCAA college football. It's been what, over a decade? Or about a decade.
Yeah.
Crazy. I remember that from high school, bro.
I think it's been since NCAA 14.
Yeah. So about 10 years.
Yeah, so about
it's crazy.
Yeah, so he's been able to.
I used to play that too.
So he was able to like just actually like be inside the game. So it's gonna be dope once I cop the game to be able to play with him and everything.
For sure.
Like that.
Yeah,
So,
playing with your family in the sports video game, that's goals for real.
yeah, for
that's
sure.
Amazing,
yeah,
bro.
it's
See,
gonna
I be
a good
having to
time.
create my player and shit. Nah, you got your actual brother. That's lit.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good
lit,
time
bro.
for sure.
Nah, is he trying to go to the league too?
He actually wants to be a pilot.
Oof.
Yeah, so he actually wants to do.
That's a great job too. We need those. We need good pilots out here.
Yeah,
shit.
he actually wants to be a pilot in the like Navy.
In the
and
Navy.
everything.
Okay,
so,
got you.
So he want to be Maverick or
a little Top Gun
something like that.
My fault. I've never seen that movie, but I do know Maverick is from Top Gun. I know Tom Cruise, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Jay Ellis, right, was in the new one from Insecure.
Oh yeah, okay.
I didn't watch it, but I saw the promo. So
I forgot all about
I've never
him.
seen it
for sure. Hey, shout out to Jay Ellis.
Come on, word. Get you some Amperé, Jay.
Hey, come on.
Crying, bro. So then, you went to FAMU. Okay, how was that experience? And then how did that slowly turn into wanting to create a wine brand? Because I know we had talked earlier about, throwing little functions, Wine Down Wednesday and all that.
Yeah.
So definitely want you to kind of talk about like the beginning of how you got to where you are from this.
Yeah, for sure. So went to Florida A&M, was able to join a fraternity spring 2018. So shout out to the Alphas in the building.
My grandfather was also Alpha at FAMU. This is too much. You might be my cousin, bro.
Hey, for
real black people shit.
Shout out to Beta Nu, man. Shout out to Beta Nu.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's really crazy. But yeah, was able to become an Alpha. And then from there, they really instilled in me like the better making of men, like wanting to like want more out of just like your college experience. So it all started to boil down to it started during COVID. So when nothing's going on, you familiar with Publix?
Yeah, that's not local, but I know about Publix.
Yeah.
It's a Southern thing because I know Messi, sidebar, I got to bring the footy in. Messi, arguably the greatest player of all time in football, one of the most famous athletes ever. Touchdowns to play for Inter Miami. His first stop was Publix.
Oh, really?
Everybody's like, how is Messi in Publix right now?
Yeah, that's dope. That lets you know what Publix has to offer. But yeah, more of the story is, so around COVID time, so 2020, was going to Publix like literally like every other week, just trying new wines. Instead of doing tacos and tequila, we would do tacos and wine. Thirsty Thursdays, everything, like really sentimented and trying to see like, hey, what's this wine industry about? So lo and behold, just in me doing a little bit of research, reaching out to different people on Instagram, I was able to get an ambassadorship with one of the top Black-owned women wine brands, Love Corkscrew. So shout out to them.
I haven't heard about them. I gotta check them out.
Yeah, definitely tap in. Yeah, so shout out to them. Yeah, so they were able to give me a brand ambassadorships, and I was literally like recording tasting notes, recording like cool little videos just about like their overall brand. So that really sentimented me and got me my kickstart inside of like, the black space of like the wine industry, because it's really big, but at the same time it's really small. So just like connecting with them, the CEO just really taking me under her wing, and I'm letting her explain to her like, hey, one day I want to have my own brand. Like what does it take? And she just talking me through the loops, explaining like, hey, like these are the certifications you should look into getting. These are the things you might want to watch out for. And then I took a work trip. 9 to 5 gotta
bro.
I took a
talk
work
about
trip.
that too.
Yeah. So I took a work trip out to like the California area. And then I was able to actually meet up with my now winemaker, and we're able to like strike a deal. And then I would say July of 2023 is when I officially launched Amperé. So the consistency of Amperé, it has 3 different wines currently. So we have, of course, the Pinot Gris, the Muscat, and the Riesling. And the reason why I wanted to start off with the white wines was because at the time, and I'm still a young guy.
Yeah, same.
A lot of
27,
people,
so same age.
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of people's introduction to wine is that barefoot, is that Josh
box wine.
Exactly. Like is
those
little white things, those little white wines. So I wanted a chance to be able to have white wines, but it was a more credible white wine. And it's like, hey, like, you want a little bit more out of your drinking experience, as opposed to a 9% barefoot. Like go ahead and take a 12.2% Muscat. It's literally the same thing, and it gives you a better experience, and it's Black owned.
Come on, facts.
So I would say, yeah, that really like sentimented like the journey and everything for it.
hmm And at what point in that wine journey did you specifically know I'm trying to start a brand and sell these actual bottles? You know, because I got into wine in a little bit of a different path. For me, it's now turning into events. It was
Hmm.
also just like a way to hang out with the homies and drink something different than, tequila, rum, whatever.
Right.
But what for you specifically in this wine industry and in this wine space said, no, I want to sell wine itself?
I would say what made me want to sell wine itself is that when I was a brand ambassador for these wine brands,
hmm
and they gave me like my little special codes to for people to give discounts and everything, like they were actually giving me like residual like income and saying, hey, like 25
I
people
need
use.
one of these deals. Shit, what, bro? Let me get that with your company. Fuck, like.
Yeah, they was like, hey, like 25 people use your code, so here's
Yeah.
like some back half money. I'm like, wow, like I
Yeah,
like
affiliate marketing is it called.
exactly.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
like,
fire,
wow,
that's fire.
like I can market myself. Like
Word.
I have a little bit of following now. So
Mhm.
let me go ahead and see like what else can I do. So I was talking to my frat brothers about it, and four of them wanted to jump on. So it's not just me
Okay.
behind the wine brand. So shout out to Shamari, shout out to Cherie, shout out to Brandon, shout out to Stevenson. And I would say like being able to have a team like really makes us go a lot more further, because it's like,
Mhm.
hey, I might not have this the special knowledge of like marketing,
Yep.
but somebody like my partner Stevenson, who works for Pepsi inside of the marketing department, he's able to like really like help us and fine tune that. I have another partner. He works for Microsoft, so he's able to
Yeah.
have the business acumen and everything. Like everybody on the team is able to bring their individual talents to help us continuously grow. So my talent is great wine, but
Yeah.
from the great wine, we're able to like really, try to get in stores, try to sell out and everything.
Got you, got you. And you said you're CEO, correct?
Yeah, CEO and
Okay.
founder. Mhm.
Got you, bro. That's fire. And they all went to school with you?
Yes, we all
And
went.
all alphas as well?
Yeah, all
Ah,
went to
okay.
FAMU, all
Got
alphas.
you.
So we really kept it in family for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Now, I know you talked a little bit about the experience of getting to the point of having this brand, connecting with the people in Oregon.
Hmm.
But I know we don't have too much time, but if you could more or less do a little bit of a step by step or a watered down step by step for
Hmm.
somebody who's passionate about wine and interested in this, what would be those steps to get to actually putting your label on a bottle and selling that?
Yeah, so I would say it's two different things that you can be able to do. So it all depends on what you're actually trying to do. If you're
hmm
trying to be like a wine maker, or if you're just trying to have a wine brand. Cause
Okay.
cause sometimes some people, they can just be trying to be wine, like just have a wine brand, and they can literally like do something called private labeling, which is when certain vineyards or wineries have leftover like barrels of wine. So
Oh,
you're
wow.
able to put like your stamp on it, and all
Yeah.
you really have to do is focus on like the marketing aspect. Or you
Mm.
can be like the wine maker, and you work with them from grape to bottling. So that means that you pick the grape. That means that you harvest the grape. That means that you have a say so of what residual sugar goes into it. You have a say so of how fermentation operates. You have a say so of what barrels they use, and you even have a say so of, hey, like I want to use this specific cork. So it really
Mm.
all depends on what you're trying to do inside of the wine industry when
Okay.
it comes to that particular like area.
Got you,
So I
got
would
you.
say for me, what happened was, so met with her, told her just everything that I was trying to accomplish from an aspect of, hey, like I want to be like one of the biggest wine brands in the United
And when
States.
you say her, you mean the people in Oregon,
Yes,
Rogue
yes,
Wines.
yeah,
Okay,
Rogue Valley, Oregon. Yeah, so
got
the
you, got
people
you.
from Rogue Valley, Oregon. So I was able to. Her name's Linda. So I was able to
Shout out,
talk.
Linda.
Yeah, shout out to Linda. So I was able to talk with Linda, let her know that I want to be one of the biggest wine brands ever. So
Mhm.
what does that look like? So I was able to sample the wine, see what I needed, what needed to be added, see what needed to be taken away, and then from there we were able to bottle, and then from bottling, we're able to work with Vino shipper, and that allows us to be direct to consumer. So you
Okay.
order it and it's right there on your doorstep.
Yep.
So no middleman per se. As long as you're ordering it right, and as long as we can ship inside your state, then you can have Amperé within 5 days.
Got you, bro. And so what you followed, that's the brand path?
Yeah, so
Okay.
no, I did
Is it a little
both.
bit of both?
Yeah, I
Okay,
did
that's what I'm
both.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was able to, pick the grapes that we actually use for the Muscat, that
Fire.
we
Yeah,
use for
yeah.
the Pinot Gris, that we use for the Riesling. In addition to, I was able to, as well as like help with like, hey, like this is what I want to go into the wine. These are the labels that I want to have. This is the logo that I want to have, and then have like that full say. So I actually was just up in Oregon for our second bottling, I want to say in April, and really had like a good sit down on like what the future looks like for Amperé. When are we going to introduce reds?
I was going to ask you, rosés and all that, orange.
When are we going to introduce some rosés and everything? You know, coming soon, but you know, we're really trying to establish these first three first, so that way that brand recognition is already set. So, so people are able to recognize like, hey, when I think about Amperé, I think about a full body wine. I think about these three varietals that leave me feeling great every single time I take a sip.
For sure, for sure. So you met them at a wine conference?
No, so I met them just browsing through like social media and just doing like my actual research.
Yeah.
And then I was in California for a business trip.
Oh, that was the work trip.
Yeah.
Separate from the wine stuff.
Separate from the wine stuff. Yeah, so I was.
But you made it another type of work trip too.
Right.
Exactly. That's what you got to do. Yeah.
Kill two birds with one stone.
Definitely.
So I was able to meet them then. And then they came down from Medford, Oregon, where they're at, and we were able to talk. I told them like all my future plans and in line with them, because, you know, they were family owned, more so didn't have a lot of custom crush going on. So I really wanted to make sure that my wine was my wine and it wasn't like being sentimented with like anybody else or anything. So it was really good conversation. And like I said, we were able to strike that deal. And then July of 2023, I was able to fully launch.
Okay, got you. And how'd you get in contact with them?
So just like I said, just like,
you used the research. Okay.
Just like overall research and everything, like researching, like, hey, I literally was at Google, like, hey, like, how do you create your own wine brand?
Bro, so I'm trying to get one with the video here. Yeah.
I was literally in Google, like, how do you create your own wine brand?
Yeah.
What are different vineyards and wineries that you should look into? What is bad wineries? And calling area. I was doing a lot of cold calling.
Okay. You got a lot of no's then.
Yeah, definitely.
I was gonna ask, what made them take you? And how, like, what are the requirements, I guess you could say, for somebody who's trying to start their own wine brand to make sure, okay, I'm not just cold calling, but like I really have a chance at these vineyards and these spots?
Right. So I would say that it's really not the luck of the draw, but I would say that it's really up to like the actual like winemaker and the actual like vineyard that you're seeking out. So you have to come with your information.
Yeah.
Well, you got to come with your shit.
Yeah. Your resume too.
Yeah, your resume and everything. So, you know, me personally, like I'm WSET level 1, WSET level 2 certified and everything. So I was able to let them know that. And then I would just also able to have like a vast knowledge like already. So like I would be asking them questions and then I can hear in that tone like, wow, like how do you know this? Exactly. Like you know what you're talking about. But I definitely still got a lot of no's, but I feel like those no's were, you know, more so like purposeful. Like maybe I didn't need to like partner with that particular winery or that particular vineyard for that time being for what I'm actually trying to do and everything.
Word. Got you. So listen, do your research.
Yeah.
Be prepared. Reach out to a ton of people because you're going to get some no's.
Yeah,
but if you really are prepared and have your stuff together, you can't get that opportunity.
Yeah. And I would say also, you know, be able to, like, if you are going to private labeling, right, like make sure that you're actually tasting the wine that they're sending you and everything. Because you don't want to just put your name on a label or a wine just to say, hey, I have my own wine brand. Like it's a lot that comes with it. You have to be TTB certified.
Which is?
So being TTB certified basically means that you're able to like ship in like all the different states. But a lot of people don't know that each individual state has their individual like alcohol like laws and everything. So making sure that you're according to their laws and for each individual, and it costs money.
All this costs money.
All of this costs money. So make sure that your capital is right, in addition to making sure that, you know, the people that you're partnering with, they actually want to see you succeed. So like so they're all the way in Oregon where we produce at. And because they're all the way in Oregon, we just go ahead and leave our like pallets of wine like in Oregon. But we have such a great relationship that whenever we get those orders and everything, they automatically work with UPS to ship it out for us like same day and everything. Whereas if you might work with somebody, they might say, hey, we're going to make your wine, but these pallets, you got to figure out what to do with them. Like we're lucky to partner with somebody that says, hey, we're going to be able to store your wine here because we believe in the vision and because, you know, we've created such a good relationship with you.
Yeah. And then the private label route, which you haven't talked as much about. So I'm assuming that one is a little bit simpler since
Yeah.
you're kind of bottling up and marketing their leftover wine
Yeah,
that they
that
already weren't going to use, right?
right, yeah. So
Okay,
that's
gotcha.
basically it. So like you're literally like using like leftover wine. Like you don't have any say so. You can't like say, hey, add some more sugar, and like you're literally using leftover wine.
Whatever they got, you have to have.
Yeah, whatever they
Okay.
got, you have to have, and then you just put your label on it. And as long as you do all the paperwork, so the TCB certifications, everything, then you have a wine label.
Got you. And then one more certification question, or just kind of like the very nitty gritty details.
Oh yeah, for
What
sure.
were the certifications that you got, and what would you suggest as like the first starting points of getting certified for people? Because I'm sure there's a lot out there that you can
Yeah,
get.
so my certifications that I got was a WSET level 1 and then WSET level 2. And right now, currently, I'm working on my WSET level 3. So all of this is in the making of trying to become a sommelier.
Okay, so these are sommelier rankings.
Yeah, yes and no.
Okay.
So it's kind of like those basic like wine certifications.
Okay.
But the more you get, then the more like you're able to like make your making to become like a sommelier in a sense.
Okay.
Because for WC, I think it goes all the way up to level 5. And then
Okay.
after level 5, like you can do like the master sommelier certifications and everything like that. That's if you really just want to, pour wine, like be able to sniff it and say, hey, this
Yeah.
is from uh
82 Bordeaux,
exactly,
Bordeaux, you know what I'm
something
saying?
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got you.
me personally, like as long as you have like that basic like wine knowledge, so that way when you're pouring up people, you able to like, at least speak and talk about what you're doing. I would say that's
Intelligently. Yup.
intelligently. I would say that's the furthest that you really have to go in that sense. It's probably like level 2.
Okay, and what do these tests look like? Are you literally in person sipping wine, sniffing wine, like getting that answer
For
correct? Like, is it
for
like that?
level 3, you actually are. But for
Okay.
levels 1 and level 2, they give you a book. It's probably
Okay.
like a 8-week class that you take, just about the regions of the wine. Then you also do a little bit of tests about like the actual like grapes. So you have your principal grapes. So those are gonna be your Pinot Gris. That's gonna be your Muscat. That's gonna be your Riesling. That's
Okay.
gonna be your Pinot Noir. That's gonna be your Cab. Those are like principal grapes because that's like the foundation of like the wine industry. Like
Right.
from those grapes, you can make blends. You can make other things. So those are why they're called principal grapes. So you do some tasting. Well, not tastings, but you do some testing on those.
Okay.
And then from there, I think I want to say it was probably like 35 questions, and then you have to at least get I want to say it's a 78 or better.
Okay. Percent.
Percent.
Got you. And so, speaking of principal grapes, so a Cabernet Sauvignon, if I'm not mistaken, is made up of a a Cab Franc and a Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
Okay. So Cabernet Sauvignon would not be a principal grape.
No, so the actual
Or
like
it still would be?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
the Cab Sauvignon would be like principal grapes.
Okay.
So for as far as reds, and I'm familiar with reds, but I'm not too
Yeah,
familiar
'cause obviously white
because I'm
brand.
not focused on it like that. But as far as like red principal grapes, so you have your Cab, and then you have your
Okay.
Pinot Noir grape. That's actually like those principal red grapes and everything.
Okay. Very interesting. Shall we do a refill?
Yeah, let's do it.
All
Which
right.
one you want?
You tell me, bro. You the connoisseur here.
Well, we can go ahead and
We're close to the end of that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Finish this off.
Bet. As you're pouring that up for a refill, I am going to ask you about red since we just brought it up. What would be the red that you want to go into, and why would it be that specific red? Because I think, as you mentioned, it definitely is more of like a wine drinker's beverage than it is someone who's new to wine or doesn't drink as much wine. So I'm curious to see like what your thoughts are on like an entry-level red and kind of where you want to go next.
Yeah.
Even though I'm sure some of it is a little top secret, but just like your general view of that.
Well, I would say as far as like just overall drinking wise, like an entry level red would be like the Josh brand. So
it's a decent brand.
Yeah, so I hear a lot of good things about their red wines, from their Cab to their Pinot Noir. So I would say that's a good like entry level red to just get you started.
Okay.
When you think about some entry level Black-owned wine brands, as far as red, and I wouldn't call them entry level because in my opinion, like all Black-owned wines are just amazing and great. I would say, maybe Lovely Wines, Pinot Noir.
Okay.
I had a chance to sip on that a little bit this past weekend. They had a tasting at Happy Cork, so I was able to sip on that. So I would say, yeah, definitely try their Pinot Noir. It was pretty delicious.
Fire.
And then I would say, also, of course, love Corkscrew. their whole like red selection. Now they have like red blends as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also like a good thing just for like starter. I would say like red blends, they aren't as dry
Yeah, that's what I've
some may
noticed as
be.
well. For
So I
sure.
would say that's definitely a good starter if you're trying to get your way into reds.
Where?
But overall, when it just comes to like drinking wine, it's just to start because as you
Yeah.
start, because when I first started drinking, I love Moscato.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything,
I mean,
but
we all did, right?
exactly. But now like since my palate has got refiner, I like Pinot Grigio. I like Pinot Gris. Pinot Gris is my favorite. So that's
Out of both, red or white.
yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, Pinot Gris is my favorite. So I would say, and that's only because I've been able to fine tune like my palate and everything like that.
Got you. Very interesting. Now, separate from reds, I'm curious to see your view on actually a few things, but we'll start with, I got so many questions, bro.
Oh, hey,
But we'll
fire
start
away.
with rosé and orange wines.
Mm.
Rosé has been, I think it's very popular now.
Oh
It's been
yeah,
popular
for
for
sure.
a while.
For sure.
Orange is now very popular in, I'd say, kind of major liberal cities like New York, Los Angeles, but it's
Mhm.
still a little bit of a younger kind of wine. It's not something you're gonna find in the middle of Ohio
Yeah,
compared to a rosé,
I
but I'm
actually
curious your
haven't
view
had
on
a
those two.
chance. Yeah, I actually haven't had a chance to try orange.
You've
wine.
never had an orange
No,
wine?
I never had orange wine.
Shit,
yet.
we're gonna change that. We're gonna have to change that,
Yeah, I
bro.
never had
Vino
an
Friday,
orange wine.
Saturday, June 29th. You're gonna have some
Alright.
orange wine.
Okay,
bro.
bet.
Yeah.
I never had an orange
Skin
wine.
contact wine. Yeah.
But I would say, as far as like rosé is concerned,
Mhm.
like that's something that I definitely like love, and
Mhm.
I want to get into.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out like the right rollout per se to get into it. Because like I said, I really want to, you want to do what you want to be able to do what you have. Hold on, let me see how to say that. All right, bet, yeah. So
No, you're good.
you want to be able to like certify everything that you have first
For sure.
before you take another step.
Yeah.
So I would say that's what I'm trying to do right now is
Yeah,
really
yeah.
like certify these 3 wines so that way it's like, hey, like these are jumping off the shelves, these are selling like hot rock. Now it's like, okay, let me introduce something
Yeah, for
else,
sure,
and
bro.
then it's like it'll be a seamless process as opposed to me trying to
Do everything.
do
Yeah.
everything at once, like forecast. Because when it comes to the wines, and I have a very like intricate thinking process. Like when it
Mhm.
comes to like I do group thinking, I make sure that hey, like before we give this to the market, like what do my people think? I kind of
Right.
approach it like an album.
Yeah, nah, you should, bro.
Yeah,
Proper rollout.
I
Yeah.
kind of approach it like an album, like how people have, those silent listeners to be able to listen to the album first and tell
Yeah.
them what to take away, tell them what to add. That's the same approach I have with the wine. Like, hey, what should I add to it? Hey, what should we take away? What do you love about it? So that's something that I wanted to really establish with these first 3, and then for sure, I'm definitely gonna get into the rosés. That's top priority. for
Okay,
sure.
got you. So that's definitely next. Rosé.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think?
I would say that's definitely next. And
Okay.
the one unique thing that I would say about what I'm gonna do with the rosé is I'm gonna bring it back to how just the Europe vibe is when it comes to like their rosé aspect, because
Yeah.
I've seen and just like articles that I read is that you can only get um Europe rosé, like they only sell it like over in Europe from like a certain time period, and after that time period, like they hang it up.
Interesting.
So I
Okay.
think that's like a cool process. So if
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
do
yeah.
it here, I would definitely do it in that aspect. Like, hey, it's from here to here, and then after we sell out, it's gone until
clipped.
next year. Yeah,
That's fire. That's fire. That's really
just
cool.
just to get the people like something to like linger on as well
Yeah.
as like something to like anticipate and feel happy about.
Got you. And you saying that in terms of like a seasonal vibe?
Yeah,
Because
for
I
sure.
feel like it definitely is a spring summer.
Exactly,
You're not
exactly.
really middle of February just sipping on rosé.
Exactly.
You know
So
what
I
I'm
think
saying?
they go from like I want to say May time frame to like Labor Day, and then
Okay.
after Labor Day they hang it up.
That's really cool.
Mhm.
I fuck with it. And then last, in terms of wine itself, actually 2 more. But one being your view on sparkling wines. So you got Prosecco, Champagne, Cava,
Shout out to
Lambrusco. Yeah, big shout out to Issa Rae
Shout out
and
to
Via
Issa.
Rae, because she didn't just put her name on Via Rae as like a celebrity consumer product.
Mhm.
It's actually fire Prosecco.
Yeah.
Like genuinely one of my favorite Proseccos, and also at a very good price point. She didn't turn it into some super crazy bougie, bring it out with the sparklers at the club. It's something pretty much anyone who's into wine can cop.
Yeah,
So big
for
shout out
sure.
to Issa Rae on Via Rae. Definitely an amazing product, I would say.
Yeah, so I would say just my view on that is, I would love to get into I wouldn't say sparkling wines, but I want to get into like actual champagne. So I want to
Because
be
that's specific. You should break that down for
Yeah.
people because a lot of people don't know,
Okay,
about
okay.
champagne. in
Yeah,
terms
so
of being from
champagne, like it has to be like from France, like in that regard. So I want to be able to go to France, be able to like see the production being made and say like, hey, my champagne is actually from France. Get it imported so that everybody can be able to try it. And me actually say I have champagne as opposed to saying I have sparkling wine. So
Yep.
once I, of course, that's later down the line. Like once I've
Word.
been able to get the capital and everything, I definitely want to like take a trip to France, Champagne, France to be exact, so
Word.
I can be able to have actual champagne and resource it back over here.
Absolutely. And then one other interesting thing that's kind of changed within wine is the twist cap. It
Yeah.
used to be seen as this very American kind of like tacky or not as nice wine, but now you can get extremely expensive bottles with a twist cap. So I'm kind of curious your decision on twist cap versus cork for your different options and what made you go there. And then after that, your view on canned wines, which is now the newest thing where you can get wine in a can and it's actually not too bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's very different. It's all about portability, bring it to the park, whatever. But just a view on the twist cap and then canned wines.
Yeah, so I mean, my personal view of just on the twist cap versus like bottling, I feel like when it comes to like having a corkscrew, like that's like second to none. Just in terms of what I want to do later down the line with my actual corkscrew and everything. So I would say, as far as the cork, I always love having the cork, but the twist cap, it doesn't make it any better or any less just because it has a cap. Now, typically I would say like back in the day, probably like if it had a twist cap, is like, I don't think I want that wine.
You're not bringing that on the date, like
right. Yeah, like you want to still be fancy, but I mean, hey, like the Pinot Gris has a twist cap, and Pinot Gris.
It don't taste like twist cap wine. You know what I'm saying?
It don't taste like twist cap wine. So I just feel like it's really up to the winemaker's discretion when it comes to all of that, for sure. And as far as like canned wines, I mean, I love them. I mean, I feel like that's literally like the next wave, just in terms of like where the industry per se is going, just because of like the portability of them. Like you said,
makes sense, bro.
Like a lot of times, a lot of people, when they're going to parks or something like that, you can't bring glass.
Exactly.
So it's like,
and it's just mad work to like carry it in your toe, and if the train shakes too much, the glass might break, and then the cork, then you got to put the suction cup thing back on.
Exactly,
bro.
So
if you can treat it like a White Claw, you know what I mean?
You never know the possibility. And then not even just treating like a White Claw, just think about like when you're going to these corporate events and they give you these goodie bags. Like that's literally like something simple that you can literally stick in a goodie bag and they can be walk away with fun. Or even when you're doing like what do you call them? Like best man, everything like that.
Little bridal shower thing.
Bridal shower boxes and all that. That's literally like simple and easy that you can be able to stick in there. It can fit because of the small size of it and small nature of it. And then now you have brand recognition. Now you're getting your brand out there, and somebody can easily still get buzz, still feel good,
for sure,
just off of the wine.
Definitely. And it's also just like being able to have a single serving of wine at a time. Because usually you can't buy a single serving.
Right.
You got to buy the whole bottle. So being able to buy the single amount, all the portability of it. Hey, man, instead of pulling up with the Trulies or the White Claws, you might have a little 12-pack of the She canned wine, which is actually a canned wine from McBride Sisters, who own Black Girl Magic Wines as well.
Yeah, they're so dope.
Two of the biggest Black-owned people, or Black-owned, one of the biggest Black-owned brands in wine, and definitely two Black women just absolutely killing it in the wine space.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
so,
they're definitely dope in what they're doing, and their story is just like really unique and cool. I had a chance to just research it. I researched everybody Black when I was trying
as you should, bro.
When I was trying to figure out what's going on when it comes to the wine industry. I definitely researched everybody Black, and I would say that I DM like literally everybody, no matter if you had a check, no matter if you had 10K followers, 100K, or even 100. Like I would DM you saying, hey, I want to be the biggest in the wine industry. How do I get started? Can you help? And shout out to the people that responded. Shout out to people who are still helping, still being mentors. It's always greatly appreciated and never forgotten. And like I said, sooner or later, like Amperé is definitely going to be in stores, be on top, and I'm just looking forward to our growth for sure.
100%, bro. I'm here to support in any way possible.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the partnership.
Of course, bro. Nah, super excited for it. And then I guess speaking of that, being Black in wine, what has your experience been thus far? What are maybe some pros, some cons you see? Where you want the industry to go? Because I think the perception of wine definitely is like kind of like this fancy thing, not always the most American. I think that perception has changed a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's gotten more casual. I think it's gotten more inviting. I think it's gotten younger. I think it's gotten Blacker. But curious to see your perception as someone who's actually in the industry and not just a consumer of the product.
Yeah, so for sure. So I would say that my perception, just in regards to like the journey, at first I thought that it was really gatekept, like just in terms of like, hey, like if you don't already know somebody, then we don't think that you have not the qualities, but it's like if you're not already in the no crowd, then why should we let you win per se?
Word.
So I would say like that was kind of like my perception, like in a sense, but then like really just trying to like break down the barriers. The biggest thing was just my age. Like when I was calling
Yeah,
these people,
facts.
when I was calling these people, like asking like, hey, like can we partner? Like, hey, how do I get this started? Like I'm looking to build, I'm looking to really create something great. They could tell in my voice that I was young. Like I had just graduated from FAMU in 2021, and that's like you just started being able to
Yeah,
like
drink in
drink
America
wine
at least.
legally,
Yeah,
right?
facts.
Drink wine legally. So it's like, what are
Yeah.
you really talking about? So that's when I knew I had to get the certifications
Yeah.
behind my name and I always started off with the same thing, like, hey, these are my certifications. This is what I researched. This is what I'm able to bring to the table. Like, are you able to help? Like, I never want to be able to like DM somebody or email somebody without letting them know what I can bring to the table. And I would say that that's been able to be like my biggest um strength, like in a sense, like literally.
Yeah.
Quick little story. So
Okay.
I launched July of 2023.
Okay.
Was talking to like randomly got a call from one of my old advisors at Florida A&M. He was just asking me like this little question, like, old school people
Yeah,
get
for
like
sure.
they couldn't remember something. He was like, hey, like, what's the name of this? So I was telling him, and
Yeah.
then we was chopping it up. He was asking me like how I been. I was like, I
Right.
actually just launched my own wine brand. He was like, wow, what a coincidence. Like literally, we're getting ready to do FAMU's Grape Harvest Festival. Let me
Oh,
put you in
fire, bro.
contact with the person like over it. So I was talking to the person over it. He said, yo, like you come highly recommended. People speak such great things about you. Like I want you to be like a sponsor. So that was literally my first big gig, and I wasn't even like a month out. So just like that overall, just like making sure that when you have that moment, like being able to show up for the moment. So we're able to show up and show out at our first event, like not even a month out. Like got great feedback for the wine, and then like literally spoke to him, I want to say 2 weeks ago, and we're locked and loaded for the FAMU Grape Harvest Festival for this year. So back to
Fire.
back sponsorship times, and I'm just really excited for the opportunity once again to just showcase not just to the Tallahassee community, but my alma mater, being able to like give back to the alma mater.
Yeah.
It's always good.
Absolutely, bro. That's fire. And then back to like the age thing. What is your view on wine in terms of like the age demographics of who's using it? So obviously not from like a literal statistical standpoint, because obviously we don't know that. I mean, unless you do research and that sort of thing. But do you feel the vibe of wine getting younger and seeing it in more things? Because that's kind of what I'm trying to push with Vino Virday is like
Right.
seeing wine as a beverage option to kind of switch up the energy of tequila, rum, vodka, gin, whatever, but still have it be like a legitimate party. Because I think people also forget, like, you can be lit off wine.
Yeah, you
like
really
it doesn't
can.
have, when I say
Yeah.
social event and party, I mean like it's also a party. It's not just
Exactly.
sitting around cross legs playing cards. Like, nah, like you turn up too. So I'm just curious to
Exactly.
see your kind of view on that.
Yeah, so my view on it is that I literally like love it. Like
Word.
I want people to not just think of wine as like a snobby thing, but just think of wine as like an enjoyment. Because like when you look back to medieval times, like when you're watching like Game of Thrones,
All of that.
House of Dragons and everything, like literally everybody is sipping wine, turning up. Like they didn't have liquor, they didn't have hard liquor back in the day. They had red wine.
If you see it in Game of Thrones, now
like literally, like they had like red wine. So like
Word.
literally, like the fact that some people think that, oh, since it's too old or since we're too old or something like that, like we're not able to like really like understand it. I think that is not as accurate per se. So I feel like the biggest thing is to just really like make sure that people like understand like, hey, you can have a great time when you're on wine. You can have a great time when you're just taking 1 or 2 sips off wine. It doesn't matter the age demographic. It doesn't matter if you're young, if you're old, or if you're new to wine. Like just try it and enjoy it. And you never know what you might find. Like this
100%.
might be your first time sipping a red and you love red. Whereas some people, when their introduction to wine is just off of a Moscato or something like that. Like I would say, let wine take you on the possibilities that you have.
Love that, man. You spitting, oh shit. That was crazy. One thing I love, do you know Gary Vee, the entrepreneur?
I've seen his videos on
Yeah,
TikTok
he
for
actually
sure.
got started, was through the wine industry. And he helped grow his father's liquor store through like, creating a YouTube wine show in 2009, way before YouTube was popping. But because he was early on, it got crazy.
Okay.
But one cool thing he said about wine was that wine is something that every instance of it and every instance of it and every year is completely different. Like a 1987 Bordeaux is different than a 1989 Bordeaux.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
is different than a 2005, which is different. Like
Yeah.
it literally every year because of the climate, because of the elevation,
Yeah.
because of the altitude, because of all these things, because of the tiniest little changes in process. It's like this forever evolving thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I would
it's so
definitely agree with
it's
that.
just always changing literally through your life. And I think that is a really cool, unique thing. And then how much it takes to go into getting this in your glass.
Right.
You know what I mean? From those grapes to the process, that region, that altitude, that climate. And so I think that's really cool too, is that on top of all the fun that you can have with it, like it is very unique and forever changing because you actually can't get it again. Like when you close off that 2024 rosé, never again can you actually taste that because it will be different. Factually speaking, you know what I mean?
Like literally, like that's one of the reasons. Like if you take a look at the wine actual like labels and everything, so when you take a look at the 2022, that is when the grape was actually like harvested and everything. So that's when like the grape was produced, as well as when you look at the 2021, that's when the grape was like actually produced. So these are like, it's all like a process. So when you forecast and everything, like you forecast now for later, even though that is later, it's still like you got to get that continuous like process. And I would say like one cool thing is that I don't know when it was. I think it maybe like 2019, like LA, not LA, but just like California. They had like some big like wild like fires and everything. Like those like wildfire grapes, I was hearing like just on like doing like research, like they auctioned for like a lot because they gave it like a fiery like taste inside of the red. So some people like loved that, whereas some people didn't. So it really just all depended on like what you wanted, like inside of like your red wine at the time. And like you said, like you can never get that wildfire flavor again because that's the vintage and everything.
It's crazy, bro. It's absolutely crazy. One thing you mentioned is that when you actually met up with these people, that was during a work trip for your full-time job.
Yeah.
So what has that been like being an entrepreneur and building a wine brand while also balancing a full-time job that obviously takes, a lot of attention?
Yeah. So I would say it's been a pretty like cool process. Like me personally, I don't think I've tapped into my work network just yet when it comes to like my like wine brand like itself. Like a lot of people, because I work for Johnson & Johnson, so a lot of people they come up to me like, hey, like, because my dad works there too. So
Okay, cool.
yeah, so they come to me like, hey, I was talking to your dad. He told me I have a wine brand. I was like, yeah. It's like, oh, why you tell nobody? I don't think about it. And it's like certain things, like I don't know, just like my way of thinking. It's like I don't want to be too entrepreneur forward where people,
I know what it means.
like
how it
where
looks.
people say, oh, like, are you really like focused on the job and everything? But I would say that like the balance has been cool because like I'm a sales rep. So like once I get those calls in, then like I pretty much have the rest of my day to really like plan around making sure that, hey, I need to go here for the wine, or hey, I need to make sure that this gets done for the wine, all in that aspect. And additionally, like you just got to be really organized per se. Like if you're an organized person, like you can do the 9 to 5 professional, and then you can do your side hustle like easily. It just all depends on that organization. But I would say like one thing that I want to do is definitely tap into my corporate bag a little bit more, just in terms of like telling my coworkers, telling like those different aspect companies like exactly what I have going on, because you never know what they can offer you and what they can bring you.
And a lot of them have the bread to be able to really not just get a couple, but get a couple cases.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They definitely have that bread.
Yeah, 100%. I was also gonna ask, so in terms of like balancing the full-time job with the side hustle, what do you see as the necessary kind of like shifting point to change the side hustle to the full-time hustle? So I think that's something that, I myself, all of this is still a side hustle for now.
Yeah,
for me,
you're doing a great job.
Yeah,
sure,
I appreciate it big time,
you're
bro.
doing a dope job.
Thank you,
sure.
my G.
Yeah,
So 2025 right now is like my benchmark moment where I feel comfortable enough, like I'm gonna fully 100% pursue my passions as my full-time. But I'm curious for you as a wine brand owner, what is kind of that statistical, maybe not statistical, but even just that point that you're looking to get to where you can feel comfortable saying, I'm Amperé full-time, period, let's get it.
Me personally, and this might be not a bad thing from an entrepreneur perspective, but I don't know. Me personally, I would always do the dual route as
Okay, and
opposed.
that's a valid thing
Yeah,
too
yeah.
for
Me
some people. You
personally,
know what I
I will
mean? Like,
also I will always do the dual route as opposed to like just being full like Amperé.
yeah,
Just one thing. Not it's funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. Like me and my friends, well, not friends, but me and my partners, we were talking about it. We was like when we actually think about like going full time with like Amperé and everything, it's like, bro, like we gotta pay for our own health insurance too.
nah, bro. There's so much. Like, I'm looking
Yeah,
into everything right now.
yeah.
I'm trying to
So
say, I'm
yeah,
like,
so
bro, it's serious.
it's like we gotta pay for our own health. It's like little
It's a
things that
lot of stuff,
yeah, it's
bro.
little
It's a lot
things
of
that
things.
that
It adds up,
our job affords us that it's like, dang, like now we got to think about it
bro. So much stuff.
as a company and everything. And that's like now we're LLC right now, so it's
Mm-hmm.
like now we got to go into an S corp, and that's more paperwork as opposed to, you know, if we just that LLC.
Yeah,
And
I
we,
hate business paperwork, bro.
yeah,
I
for
hate
sure.
this tax shit. It's everything is so annoying.
No, hey man,
It's the worst.
do
And if
your
you want someone else,
taxes.
facts. And if you want someone else to do it, now you pay more money. But bro,
Exactly.
it's the
So that's
healthcare,
yeah.
it's
So that's what
insurance.
exactly.
Your funds are usually untaxed, so now you need to save your tax money rather than they
Boom.
take it out of every paycheck. Your 401k is no longer 401k with the companies with a percentage match maybe. Now you got to bring it to a Roth IRA. It's like
Exactly. So
fuck. All the little things you low-key don't think about.
you
Dental,
don't think
eyes.
about
It's like,
right. That's
damn, bro.
like literally
Stay healthy.
exactly. Literally when we were in Oregon, talking to our winemaker and
Right.
everything, she was saying like, he was like, yeah, like, so when do you guys, she asked us that same question. She's like, so when do you guys think you're going full time just like Amperé?
Yeah.
And then we all just like looked
Start
at each other
laughing.
and kind of laughed because it's like those little things. It's like we don't want to give it up. But like it's not that we're like lazy or anything.
Of course,
we don't
of
think
course.
that Amperé can't succeed. It's just like if we don't have to have the overhead, then why do it? It's like all
Yep.
right now, like all of the funds, the extra bonuses or something that we may get from that 9 to 5, you know,
Yeah.
that goes to capital for Amperé, as opposed to like we're building that Amperé, like our overhead is very small. And
Yeah.
then we have future plans to, you know, have those storefronts. We have future plans.
Oh, for
to-
real?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we definitely got future plans
Okay.
for some storefronts and everything. So it's like that's capital that we can put to there as opposed to like having to think about, oh man, we gotta make sure that we're good for 401k, make sure that
Yup.
we're good for medical, dental, and all that. And it's like we can just depend on our jobs for that.
Yeah.
And as long as it makes sense and it, you know, continuously allows us to have that balance and we stay responsible, we stay organized.
Yeah.
I don't see why I can't keep doing the corporate and then continually to do Amperé on the side.
Yeah. And I think too, if you're able to consistently, as you said, take care of those calls and
Exactly.
then kind of move into that, that's really good. For me personally, I can like feel that, man, if I had my whole week open, where all I gotta do is think about footy content,
Mhm.
film photography, and my Vino stuff, whether it's Vino content or the Vino event, I just know my shit's like a rocket ship.
Oh
is
yeah, bro,
launching off.
you'll go
You know what
crazy
I mean?
for sure. Yeah, yeah.
So
You'll
for me
definitely, you'll
personally,
definitely go crazy. So
yeah, I appreciate
yeah,
that, bro.
yeah.
I'm saying for me and for certain people, it's really the time is your most valuable asset.
Hey.
And when I don't have to, when I can, first of all, I can stay up mad late and sleep in because maybe that's just what was necessary to edit that video,
Mhm.
you know? And it's like not having those meetings or those random emails or the messages, all the presentations, the documentation. When I can wipe all of that off my plate
Mhm.
and solely focus on all this, I can have more consistent events, more consistent podcasts, more like that. So for me, it's the time piece.
Hey,
And when I open that
I'm not
time,
mad
I
at
just
it at
know what
all.
I can do, especially even like film photography, right?
Hey.
If someone because the other day someone asked me to do 12 to 4 p.m.
Mhm. What you gotta-
shoot,
you
and
gotta
it's like, of
work.
course I got work, I got meetings, like, but that's an opportunity that's bred right there. So for me, if I could clear my schedule, that's just gonna launch.
But
this
then
shit.
also like one thing that I've learned to be able to do is like balance that. If I have like a work trip coming up, like balance it like with something.
Word,
So
smart,
yeah, so
yeah.
balancing like with something to be able to like maneuver and everything. So I would say like because this upcoming I don't know how I got started, but well, I do know how I got started. But like this like year has really been like a tour for me, like between being able to host my first tasting inside of DC with the
That was a
gathering.
few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, that was
Congrats
the
again
first-
on
yeah,
that, bro.
yo,
It's
shout out
fire.
to the gathering spot. Yeah, so being able to do that being able to host in New York, June 29th, to
Yes,
being
sir,
able
we
to
there.
go down back to Florida A&M in August, and then stay tuned for July. We got something cooking for July.
Definitely, bro.
So it's like
Absolutely.
I've been able to like go on a tour, but I've also been able to like manage those tours with making sure that, hey, if a client's there, let me go ahead and get this client work done,
Yep.
so I can be able to like sentiment that 9 to 5, and then I can enjoy the fruits of my labor when it comes to like Amperé work.
Absolutely, bro. That makes sense. Cause like the more you can balance it, I mean, if we go to the Muscat, we can go to the Muscat, bro. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Tori talked about that. So speaking of just, I mean, this whole thing, everything about you is very entrepreneurial. So do you have any other entrepreneurial passions that you would want to share? Maybe tequila? No, I'm playing. Maybe something that's not a consumer product. But I'm just curious, like, because I can tell you have a very sales entrepreneurial mindset. If there's anything else outside of wine that, you know, you want to then tag onto your passions, maybe at a later point, but just curious to kind of, you know, see your thoughts there.
Yeah, so I would say like not all of my passions are like wine, but they
Right.
all like are wine infused in a sense. So
Okay.
like later down the line, I want to be able to partner with like galas, partner with museums, and then have them like as you're going around taking a look at the beautiful art. What are you drinking? Amperé, of course. So I want to be able to have that partnership.
We gonna make that happen. August 2nd. I got a whole nother thing I had to hit you about. I didn't even tell you about August yet. We're gonna talk about it.
Oh, let's do it, man. Let's do it. And we cooking. My bad, viewers. We cooking. we cooking while we talking.
Nah, we definitely cooking while we talking.
So just that, and then being able to like, I have a lot of homeboys who I grew up with. Terrell, he's an up and coming artist, so want to be able to partner with him and just different aspects. Like he shouts me out from time to time when he does like his.
What kind of music?
So he does like hip hop. He does everything really. Like
the R&B.
Yeah, the R&B.
We gotta talk about that too, bro. We got a lot to talk about.
Banks is a one-stop shop, man. Banks is a one-stop shop. So shout out to Banks, man. In addition to like literally like all of my friends, from frat brothers to like people who I grew up with, they're all like one-stop shop. Like I have another homeboy who I grew up with. He has his own clothing brand, so I want to be able to partner with him, like how we can do the wine and the clothing brand. Like I want wine to be the vessel, so I can be able to partner with so many people to have like so many opportunities. Because like as you can see, like Barefoot, they're literally they're the number one wine for the NFL.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're the number one wine for the NFL.
I mean, I kind of get it in terms of if there was going to be an NFL wine. NFL, I don't think about wine.
Yeah.
But we're going to change that perception.
Exactly.
But if I were to pick one, it would be just like a major, large corporation, very drinkable with wings and popcorn and shit. But that's like hilarious that it's like, it's an official like.
Yeah, like it's like
the official wine sponsor.
Yeah, the official wine is Barefoot.
Shout out Barefoot, man.
Exactly.
I don't drink y'all, but yeah. So financially, y'all got it.
Exactly. So it's like those little things I want to be able to like, hey, like let's do this, and then even like untapping from just like those type of sports. Like I've seen Lafette Wines. They partner with
like are they Haitian?
I don't know if they're Haitian,
okay.
but they have a rosé, a really dope rosé, and I've seen them partner with F1 Formula.
Wow.
Yeah, like just like
Black-owned?
Yeah, they're Black-owned.
Bro, you gotta send me these.
Yeah.
I'll be trying to find the Black-owned shit sometimes. I don't be finding it.
Yeah, for sure. Y'all send it to you, like for sure. Like I like literally, I'm a wine geek. Like I appreciate it. I look at it like strategic, like who are they partnering with and like why are they partnering with them and everything. So that's my like biggest thing. Like so, I would say that I am entrepreneur driven, but I want to see who I can partner with
through the wine.
Yeah, through the wine and everything. Because I don't always want to be direct to consumer. Like I want to be in
events.
Yeah, I want to be in events. I want to be inside of restaurants and everything. That's why the partnership not the partnership, but the event that I did with the Gathering Spot was so dope because they have their own clubhouses in each major city. So they have their own clubhouse in DC, their own clubhouse in Atlanta, and their own clubhouse in LA. And I was able to
Is it like a Soho House vibe?
Yeah, it was like a Soho House.
Oh, I didn't know. The Gathering Spot.
Yeah, the Gathering Spot. And it's membership only.
Okay.
And it's Black owned. So and literally like I want to be able to like be in those type of like environments and vibes, because it's like, hey, like if I can get in there, like just those like petite young professional vibes, it's like the sky's the limit. So just those little partnerships is what I'm looking for as far as just like that overall like entrepreneurial spirit and everything.
That's mad cool, bro, because literally everything you just said, I'm also trying to be like the event host and curator of events like that
Mhm.
in terms of having wine and fashion, wine and art, wine
Yeah,
and
man,
this, with, of course, bringing in a DJ and playing their music
for
and, the
sure.
specific selection. So we got to keep talking, bro, because
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to do more than just later this month. We got a lot to get to,
Yeah,
no
man.
doubt. That's
Like
fire.
it's just, like the possibilities are like endless. And then
100%,
if
bro.
you just think about like, I wouldn't say people are tired of hard liquor, but people sometimes they want to be able to feel good without waking up from a
Yeah,
like
and without
consequential headache.
tweaking out, bro.
Exactly.
Because there's no shots of wine. There's no like, damn, I took too many shots. Like, if
Exactly.
you got too lit off wine,
Then you went
really
hard.
drank too much wine. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Unless
Like,
unless you was on an Amperé, because I
yeah,
know
nah,
that
you
Amperé
can never
make
go
you do
too hard off the Amperé.
Yeah, the Amperé make you do something different. Like two or three glasses, you feeling great. You want to text your ex.
Where, bro? 5 p.m. on Saturday, June 29th, y'all gonna be wilding.
Hey.
That's funny, bro. Nah, but definitely, I feel like it's time to move past some of those other things.
Mhm.
And let's enjoy wine at these events, bro.
Yeah,
honestly.
for sure.
It's about time. But definitely, you've done a lot of amazing stuff. You're at a really good spot. You've got a lot more growth to go. But what is some advice you would give to somebody in their journey, entrepreneurial in general? And then if you want to also give some specifics to the wine industry, just advice out there for those who are kind of, wishing they had their own Amperé.
Yeah, I mean, just advice wise, like I would say, just know what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, be the best at what you want to be. Like, when I was like when I was growing up, like I wanted to be good at everything, but it's like, no, like find like your particular niche and be the best at that. Have everybody wanting to come to you like, hey, you do this, I want to come to you to this. The biggest thing, not the biggest thing, but the one thing that I wish that I could have got on when I was in college is I wish I would have got on, not the photography way, but I wish I would have just like looked into like photography a little bit, because I had friends that they started their career by taking grad pictures.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was like they shot up and blew out. So I'm like, oh wow, like that's extremely like amazing. Like for you, and that's what college is about. So you finding your niche and making sure that you are the best at that particular area is my like biggest advice. Like make sure that you know what you want to do and just like go crazy with it. Like that's the biggest time in college, particularly is the biggest time to test things out, to see what you're good at, and then expand from it from there.
Word.
And then in terms of just like wine advice, it just go to everything. Like me personally, like I literally go to everything. It doesn't matter if it's a wine tasting. It doesn't matter if it's a Zoom call. Like I'm at every single like wine event just so that people can be able to like familiarize me and familiarize like my brand. Like sometimes I don't even speak on my brand, or I don't even like say like, hey, I'm a winemaker. Like I want them to really understand Anthony first, and then like see me as a person, and then I'll later talk about, because if I'm at an event, if I'm at another person's wine event, I want the spotlight to be on them. I want it to like we're here for you. Like I want to see you shine. I want to see your enjoyment, and then like later in the background, of course I'll talk to you and let you know like, hey, I have my own like wine brand. But I would say like if you're trying to do wine, go to literally everything. Like it doesn't matter what it is, big or small, like literally go to everything and make sure that people see your face, because people are, they familiarize faces.
Absolutely,
So
bro.
consistently seeing you like, wow, like you're literally at everything. It's like now
it's very different. It's different than a DM. If I see you physically in person, I'm shaking your hand every time, and that like, holds more weight.
Exactly. And it's like if you, and especially if the event costs and it's like you're spending your money, and so you're supporting them. Like shout out to the Fine Wine series. Like
they're big.
Yeah,
they're very big in New York. Actually, they're not just in New York, but
they're everywhere. So shout out to like the Fine Wine series and everything. Shout out to Unwind. Like those are guys that are doing like big things. Like had some good conversations with them, and just like I wouldn't say like check-ins, but like every time we see them, it's always love, and like they always ask me like how everything's going. So like those are some really like dope people that I've met like since I've been in New York, and then I just go literally to like all their events, like just wanting to like get more, like see who I can network with, see who I can connect with inside of the wine industry, because that's all it is. It's a big networking.
That's all it is.
Connection, bro. Like just network, and then I live by the philosophy, and it might be cheap, not cliche, but it might be corny, but it's like they literally say like you like 5 people away from like your biggest blessing or something like that.
Quite literally though.
Yeah. So
I think statistically you actually are like only 5 people removed from anyone in the world.
Exactly. So I live by that, just to like make sure that, hey, like I'm consistently showing up, and who knows where Amperé is going to be next month.
End of this month, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And like everything he's saying is very true too, because like at the end of the day, you got to shoot your shot. You DM me. I think you got connected through my homegirl, London.
Yeah.
Right. But at the end of the day, you sent me a message, said, yo, I got this wine brand. I heard you host, a wine-focused social event and party. I feel like it'd be dope if we could work together.
Yeah, for sure.
Here we are recording a podcast. You're now going to be hosting an open bar / wine tasting at my next event. So at the end of the day, you got to shoot your shot and put yourself out there. If you don't advocate for yourself, things are not going to magically happen for you.
Right.
So
Advocate
Amperé and everything Anthony's doing is exactly that, and really putting himself out there, advocating for himself, shooting his shot, and that shit went in. Swish.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Definitely
bro.
like just advocating and, just making sure that you're partnering with like the right people. Like the partnership that we have going, the partnership that we're going to continue, it just like overall like makes sense. Like you have a passion for just curating like different nuances of events, and that you want it to be like wine focused in a sense. So just making sure that, of course, you can DM anybody, but making sure that the DM is like purposeful. And it's like when we talked, it wasn't that I was coming to you with a hand. I was like, hey, I have something to offer for an already established event that you have. So just like those little things, like making sure that you have, something to offer. And if you don't, just like tell them like, hey, like, I just need some mentorship. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to do. I need some help. And I see you doing dope things. Can you help me?
Word. Nah, and exactly that, bro. Because one thing, you're exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for a wine sponsor, and you came to me being a wine sponsor. So that's providing that value. But at the same time, like I personally am, willing to mentor and help out people who may want to be doing some of the things that I'm doing, who might be younger in college, who just started podcasting or doing photography or whatever. So whatever you want to reach out on, you can. But if it's specific to something like a partnership and having that value, you got to bring the value to connect with somebody. Exactly. And that's exactly what you did. You brought me like a very direct, specific, great thing to have at my event. And I was like, fuck it, of course we're going to make it happen. We just got to find the date. Like,
yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Nah,
June
of course,
29th.
bro. June 29th. Listen, Lovejoy's, Bushwick, we there.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. Amazing advice, bro. I appreciate you giving that. One last
What about
thing.
you? Like, what's your advice, man?
Yeah, appreciate you asking me, bro. So for me, I would say my biggest advice is like really finding your niche and being able to, kind of like what you were saying too, but finding your niche and being able to really double down in that. Because at the end of the day, it might sound corny, but there really is only one you.
Right.
And when you're able to 100% tap into that, I think special things can happen. So if you think about me personally, I do, Vino, Virday, wine, social event, and party, but also the podcast, getting to know people over a glass of wine. I do film photography. And then I have Five-A-Side Media and Wavy Footy, which is all about growing soccer in the U.S. through the lens of Black culture. Only me, right, and Gabriel Guisado.
You ain't missing the playlist.
And don't even start on the playlist and the music mixes, but part of all of that is like, doing all three of those things is what makes me me, and they're quite literally in the world is nobody who's doing exactly what I'm doing. So I've doubled down on my niche of being this guy who does all three of those things, and I feel like that's what makes me special. If you want to reach out to me to work out with me in any three of those things, when you put it all together, it makes me me. Nobody else is doing this, And then when it comes to even just my event and making it unique, you have a few different pillars, but you have the wine, which is a little bit unique for an event. A lot of events are more focused around just cocktails or not even focused around a drink. Then you go to the music, being focused around new age R&B, which is gonna be my last question for you. New age R&B, Afrobeat, and then West Coast music, but it's a New York party.
Right.
So the music selection is interesting. Wine is an interesting beverage, and then it's also a social event and a party. It's not just a party, it's not just a social event. And then we have games available for play. I do the own photography myself. I give flowers to my guests. Like, you put all that together, you see a very unique event, which makes Vino Virday its own unique series. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's
creating an experience,
you feel me? So whether it's myself or whether it's my event, I have my own niche, and I'm just doubling down on being like, nah, this is specifically what I am. So my biggest advice is doing that. Also, not just because of being unique, but because when it's unique to you, you actually enjoy it.
Right.
So all the planning, you know what I mean, bro? All the planning, all the work that it takes to get my events, I love it because I love that event represents me. When it comes to all my different side hustles and these different passions I have within media, photography, hosting events, like I like it because that's me. So when you're focused on your niche from a personal lens, from an event lens, whatever it is, it also makes it more enjoyable. Because if I hated my side hustle, why the fuck would I have a side hustle?
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, that's really all I got. Last thing though, in these last 2 minutes, When people think about wine, they instantly think about R&B. Unfortunately, to me, I think people often quickly go to old R&B, Usher, Keisha Cole. I always say shout out our legends, but I'm very focused on the new generation, Bryson, Party, Brent, Summer Walker, SZA, etc. So last question for you. Who's your favorite, or just a few new age R&B artists that you fuck with, both from the men's and the women's side?
Yeah, so let's see. From the men's side, a few like R&B artists that I mess with. Of course, my boy One Disdain, great guy.
Okay, who that?
Yes, sir. So love and rock with his music.
Fire.
From the next perspective, I would say I was just listening to Bryson in the gym today. So shout
Fire.
out to
That new
shout
album
out
tough. Yeah.
yeah, new album tough. So shout out to Bryson. I'm gonna throw Drake in there for sure.
I mean, he's new age R&B.
Yeah, so
He
yeah,
affected all those
yeah,
artists.
yeah,
That's real.
yeah. I'm gonna throw Drake in there always, and then to phase it out and end it, I would say Don Toliver. Yeah.
Okay, that's an
those
interesting
my
pick.
yeah, those are my go-tos when I'm feeling good
Yeah.
and want to get on some R&B. As
Okay.
far as like women's concerned, I would say SZA is definitely like my go-to. Like
Definitely.
she probably done got me through some rough times. Shout out to SZA.
Nah, that's real, bro. That's real.
Yeah,
Real.
shout out to SZA. And then I probably say like Janelle Monáe. Like I don't know if she's
Oh shit. Okay,
Yeah,
that's an
I-
eclectic pick. I like
yeah,
that.
so
I like
I don't know if she's too new age or if she's following the old school. But I would
Nah,
say,
she knew enough.
Yeah. So those two are my biggest pick as far as women artists are concerned. So SZA and Janelle Monáe.
Okay, fire. Yeah, so listen, you want to hear some new age R&B, you want to sip some Amperé wines, Saturday, June 29th at Lovejoy's in Brooklyn, Vino Virday Volume 4, Saturday edition.
Volume 4.
Come on, yo, we just getting started, but it's still the latest shit out here. So yeah, definitely pull up. You'll be there, not just giving out the free wine that is included with your
I'll
ticket.
be personally pouring, taking
Come
you
on.
through the whole
The
process.
tasting, everything.
Yeah, tasting those, letting you know what you
Facts.
should feel, letting you know if you want to cop a bottle right then and there, you can. Like I said, like literally just getting lips on glasses is the biggest thing that I'm trying to do. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity. June 29th, baby.
100%. So that's definitely how we got to close it out. We'll do one cheers with the empty glass, but
Sir.
appreciate y'all heavy. That's Vino Conversations, episode 3. Peace.